And welcome back to the Hub of Junior Golf Podcast. I'm Ryan Burr, joined as always by the founder of the Junior Golf Hub, Roger Nick. Roger, obviously a huge day in junior golf this week, as it was National Signing Day. So much flux, maybe arguably the most fluxed signing day in the history of the NCAA, even more so than COVID, as a lot of coaches are signing players that they're not even sure they will have a scholarship for. Boy, tough times. I don't know if you saw this. The head coach at Virginia on X said that he has spots available for displaced players where they no longer have a scholarship at their school, and to contact him directly. This is a top 20 school in America actively letting players know that they will take the best of the best. I mean, imagine this, Roger. UVA head coach on Twitter saying, if you lose your scholarship, call me, let's talk.
It's almost unimaginable, but it happened, right? I mean, and I think it's going to happen more often because, again, to our conversation, even our last episode, talking about, this is a little crazy, with you're going to have coaches having to cut players, not because they want to, because they have to. And where do they go? What happens from there? And what is that going to mean to this class of recruits coming in? Like you said, what a wonderful day yesterday for our academy. We had great 4 signees, which is always awesome. But just thinking around the country, how many kids signed, and who knows, come January, they may go, sorry, I know we made a big deal, but you don't have a spot here anymore.
That's 100% what's going to happen. I'm not saying every recruit. I mean, talking with coaches, there are going to be coaches that decide whether to take a freshman or whether to keep a junior or senior. And I think it's a case-by-case basis. There are 100% going to be freshmen that get the call that say that spot that they signed for is no longer available. With that, Roger, we have a very special guest on the program today. One of the golf instructors for the Czech Republic national team, Eva Koželuhová. I hope I did okay there, Eva.
Almost, but my surname is so difficult, so you did it well.
Eva, why don't you tell us a little bit about your day-to-day in the Czech Republic with the women's national team, and why you're in the United States right now?
Okay, so basically I'm working like in one club in Prague as a junior coach. And so normally I have like, 6 to 8 hours with juniors, but also with adults. And my work in Czech Federation system is based more on like weekend programs with like the juniors who are picked in the national program. So we spending like 20 days normally in like off season, and just trying to help them out sometimes during the tournament. And we go sometimes like with them, if we are picked, we going with them for European team events or Junior Avian Cup, and so those things. So we're working like that mainly.
Ava, I know one of the tough things here in the U.S. as U.S. has now launched their national program. It's a little. We think it's really exciting. Let me put it that way. But we're a little kind of not sure exactly how it's going to roll. I know, speaking with you a little bit about the program there in the Czech, is like it's always kind of concerning when you're talking about player development and the rise of player development, and what a lot of countries do is talk about tournaments and not actually player development. And I know, a little bit of what we're talking about is like, why aren't we actually doing more player development, when it comes to the skill development, the physical development, the mental development, versus just tournaments? And that's one of those tough things. As someone from the Czech Republic, and you have juniors that want to play in the U.S., is that something you think is going to end up helping those players come to the U.S. and have opportunities or not?
Yeah, maybe I would start with how we also I try to describe how we working with the regional squad, because where I am mostly there, I feel that we are like kind of try to motivate them how to work more, how to like develop their golf skills, how to building their like training habits, how to educate them in the routines which are so important. And then we try to send them to the national program, where I feel we are like more like we doing the testing for, and somehow they are like spending time together and with the coach building some team spirit. So it's not about the probably building the skills that much as in the regional system. So, and if I like follow with the question like why they going to US, if I feel like some advantage of it, like it's definitely is, and it's mainly because that in US have the program what we don't have in Czech, and it's that you can combine studying and playing golf like together and on same time, same spot, and it's so difficult to combine it in Czech. And also like we don't have the opportunities and the conditions and the facilities, but we have so many good coaches, but still we have like half a year of like proper playing, then we have winter, right? That's the first thing. And also like mainly thing, I've still US is so attractive for us as like post-communism country, honestly. And we see some like probably the most like value in the like that you offering us like combine everything together like more effectively, because I give you an example. When someone's ending in school at 3:30 p.m., then they need to somehow get to the club. Like it takes at least 1 hour. Then they have like a couple hours for practicing. Then they need to do their homework. So it's much more efficient, I think, to go somewhere where it's like together.
Sports are obviously a huge part of the Czech Republic. I think immediately we think to tennis. Had some great players. Certainly the Korda sisters have a Czech Republic background. How popular is golf? Is it becoming more popular in your country?
Yeah, I do think so, because we have like 5, 6 players on LET now on Ladies European Tour. And also like one of our best player, Klára Spilková, she played a couple of years on LPGA. So it's getting like, yeah, known as a like normal sport for normal people also, that anyone can do it. And for sure it's much more popular. And also in COVID, honestly, we were like only thing what like remained like open, so we could play golf even in the COVID somehow. So I think in that time it helped a lot. Not the time wasn't good for sure, but it was like the time when people could only stay outside and golf was the only thing what was like what's still open for people. So I think it's getting better, but still we need to find a way how to probably bring more kids to the golf, and we still trying to find it, because it's hard. It's hard to, maybe it's not that hard to like ask them or give them like some, I don't know, like day with the golf, but then like keep them at golf, it's much more difficult nowadays.
Eva, how many kids are playing golf in the Czech?
It's a good question, but I would say I should be better prepared. But I think it's like I can imagine like low, like thousands, really low thousands. Maybe I would go maybe with high hundreds, but it's I don't know the number, like exact number. What maybe it's more important that the number is not like going up that much as we like would like to have.
Obviously, coaching becomes the most important part of those players' development. You currently are in the United States getting certified in PDI. Certainly, Roger and all of our listeners to this podcast know how we feel and where the world is ultimately going, with a way to ultimately be able to look at players from different parts of the world and through PDI get the instruction they need to get better, but also to be able to predict some outliers that have extreme potential that might not have the golf score right now. How exciting is it for you to get certified in PDI and be able to take that back to the Czech Republic?
Yeah, honestly, I expect a lot when I was coming here, but it totally, I'm like overwhelmed, or how to call it. I'm really excited. I'm truly, and I'm not saying it just because I'm sitting here in GPS, and I'm like really excited about the complex like view on the players. What I'm trying to do in the Czech Republic for a couple of years now, because I'm doing the fitness part with them as well, as I studied the body, and I was in like sport whole my life. So I'm trying to do like the complex coaching in Czech, but I didn't have like kind of tools or this something like that. I did TPI for sure, but this is like what really can help us to like assess the players and see the the comparison between them, or like I really feel that it could be really helpful also in maybe how to recruit the players to the national team and those things. So I really in or behind the like long-term development like work with the players. I have a couple of my players for 7 years now, so I feel it like so important thing, and I just really hope that if I bring it to Czech, that it would be accepted well. And yeah, I know a couple of coaches who will be probably in second, but I need to somehow like convince the others that maybe do the thing with my guys, with my students, and then show how it's working, and yeah, we will see. But I really hope in this that they will see the value of it, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, Ryan, it's so funny. We've had this conversation back and forth a little bit about the differences between coaches in the U.S. and the coaches in Czech Republic, and what we found is there's not a lot of difference in in our thinking and our philosophies, in a sense of, I think there's a lot of this kind of my philosophy is better than your philosophy, and forget that we actually trying to help the students get better, right? It's conversations we've had many years now about. It's about the juniors getting better. It's about providing opportunities for them to continue hopefully their love for the game, and then passionately, provide something towards their ultimate goal of being a better golfer, and maybe even playing collegiate golf, whether it's in the U.S. or internationally. It's just getting them to play at that highest level. So I think it's very interesting, as she has that same quandary that all of us have, which is, hey, we find a tool that we see that really works, but it's adopting that tool, right? And as we're going through that in the U.S. right now and getting more and more coaches to adopt the PDI for their players, and we're seeing it now at the level of the national MB3 championship. How many parents now are going, hey, I got to get the PDI, I've got to get this, because we know how important it is for their development. As much as we want that to be a mainstay, it's going to take coaches like Eva to keep doing this and keep bringing it back to where they are, and getting more people to do this continually. And I think we'll see a huge change over time in development for sure. So thanks for your efforts on that, Eva. It's great.
Yeah, thank you. I thank you. But also what I like about that, many players, they are so focused on the results and on the swing. In Czech, we are so technical. I feel it. If I like came here and I see the like holistic like work with the kids, what I'm trying to do somehow, but I feel that I can't like replace the work of like the psychologists or the conditioning coaches, because I can somehow, and I do it somehow, but still I think that it would be great to have some kind of team as you have here, and like come with the players that it's not all about the swing. And I see that PDI can show them, okay, see, your golf skills are here, so probably your like results are not based on this because you're super skillful, and now you see that you are in mental part, you are where you have like 50%, so maybe we should work on that. So that's why I'm so happy about that. Everything happens for a reason, and I can see now that what I'm trying to somehow doing in Czech, that yeah, somehow I like just brought it to my life, and I met Leanne in summer, and now I'm sitting here and just learning new things. But honestly, just I'm so happy that what I try to do, someone who's doing for so many years, and it's working. So that's maybe why I'm even more excited about.
Well, Coach, we're excited for you. Certainly excited to see the knowledge that you take back to your home country and how that helps junior golfers there become better. And ultimately, if a U.S. college scholarship to come play collegiate golf is in their future, then certainly you'll be a big part of that story. So we thank you today for coming on the Hub of Junior Golf podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, and have a good one.
All right. Thank you.
Roger, I want to get back to just the idea of PDI. And I'll tell you, NB3, as it should, gets a ton of credit for the Dunlaps and the Valdezes and the Jackson Buchanans and the Aiden Crafts, and it goes on and on. You got players at Illinois, you have players at Texas, you have players at Oregon, you have players at Florida State, Alabama, and Georgia that have gone on and done really well. This year's winner, Roger, is the first winner we've ever had that had to local qualify before he went to regional, before he went to Coshada. Now, think about this for a second. We have extremely forgiving exemption policies to get into a regional. Mm-hmm. Extremely generous. He did not meet the extremely generous requirements, which essentially means he had no ranking.
Right.
Went to an 18-hole qualifier, won. Went to a regional, won. Went to Coshada and won. But it doesn't stop there. So he went through PDI, off the charts. Went to the long drive contest. His ball speed was 199, and he hit a jump. And the long drive that he won with in a playoff was 365. And he shot 13 under at Coshada. So you have a kid that's a senior in high school, completely unrecruited. In fact, unrecruited isn't the word. There's no one in the country that even knows of this player, Roger. This is the first time his name will appear anywhere. 199 ball speed, 365-yard drive. Wins at 13 under par, and hello world.
Yeah. I mean, but it happens, unfortunately, every day, right? I mean, that's a kid who, unfortunately, has not played in something that got his rankings high enough for somebody to recognize, right? Or maybe just that perfect storm where he's a late bloomer and it just started to come out, this summer, right? It's really interesting to see that. We were actually having this discussion earlier today about, we're going to be speaking at you, me, Noda, we're going to be speaking at the College Coaches Convention, right? And what is the purpose behind PDI? And you just outlined a perfect example why PDI was created, right? It's because there are so many kids out there that play some great golf that never get recognized because maybe they can't afford to go and play in an event. Maybe they just don't know about it. Their head's in the sand. Their parents just said, hey, just play locally. Don't worry about rankings. And they don't really get fed into that frenzy of, rankings or everything. and you just find this talent. I mean, it's out there. And by the way, Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Zach Johnson, Wayne Gretzky, they were all athletes who were not heavily recruited going through their teenage years. I mean, it just didn't happen, right? I mean, Kobe was set down on his Philadelphia high school team and said, hey, you're not going to be a starter. Sorry, you're not going to make our team at 14, 15 years old. He showed them, right? 18, he's drafted, become one of the greatest basketball players of all time. So it happens, and I think there's this idea that magically these coaches know something that everyone else doesn't know. But I have to say, they just rely on so much ranking and information that says, hey, if you play in this tournament, you must be good enough. So then therefore I value you, versus going, hey, these young athletes need to learn how to value themselves and the hard work that gets put in to be great at something, right? And that sounds like this young man who blew it out the water, literally out of the water down there in Coshada this year. He deserves the recognition.
So let's just fast forward a few years, where every junior player that goes through PDI has a PDI score that college coaches recognize and use as part of the recruiting process. You mean to tell me a player that comes across with 199 ball speed, a 365-yard drive, off the charts in broad jump, off the charts in accuracy, off the charts in mental acuity, but just doesn't have a ranking because he was playing, quote unquote, the wrong events that don't get you ranked, goes to a national tournament, shoots 13 under par. But forget all that. The PDI score shows that this kid's potential is unlimited, Roger.
Yeah.
How many schools just think about Big East.
Yeah.
Think about Big 10. Think about Big 12.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the schools, like, not every school is Alabama, Georgia, Texas, and Stanford.
Right.
Like, I will tell you right now, they're 90%, 95% of the teams in the Big Ten, 95% of the teams in the Big Ten do not have a kid with 199 ball speed. Maybe 99%.
I would say 99.9% don't have a kid with 199 ball speed. Sorry, it's the anomaly by a lot, right? So it's fascinating to me, Ryan, how we have gone down this road for so long of thinking this junior ranking is the end all be all to recruit someone, right? It wasn't long ago that when you did get recruited, I remember in the 80s, okay, come on down, you're going to do a demo for us, and we're going to see if you actually, have the speed, have the arm,
right,
have the bat speed, all of that stuff that says that, hey, yeah, we'll recruit you. They would see our games and they would see game film and all that good stuff. But the reality is they wanted to see you in person and go,
sure,
you look like an athlete, you move like an athlete, you throw and run like an athlete. All right, we'll give you something, and in golf, it's like, okay, if you've got this high ranking, you played in these events, even though you finished in the bottom third of the field, you must be good enough, and we ordain you good enough to be recruited, sight unseen a lot of times, and you've got the Power Four conferences are moving everything, got NIL. Ryan, I hate to say it, and I'm going to beat up the NCAA here a little bit. This is a business. College is a business. These coaches, unfortunately, are being forced to act as though they are the business leader, the CEO of their golf team, and says our money spent needs to yield a return. And it's not about developing young people anymore. And yes, I know the coaches that we speak to every week believe and feel that that's what they're doing, their job is. But on the other side of that is that if they don't win, guess what? They're out of a job. And so they have to be able to say, hey, my return on investment, here's the chart, here's my analysis I've done. They're the highest ranked player in the state. They've won this HAGA event. They are ranked this on JGS. All right, so I've done my due diligence. So even if they don't perform well or well enough, you can't fire a coach, right, for saying, hey, I got the best players, And in
Hey,
golf,
it's no
not
different
like
than
promoting
Oklahoma State.
those.
Oklahoma State had a big budget. They went to recruit a kid in Europe, Norway. No one comes out of Norway. Goes to watch a kid, so checks the leaderboard. Another kid's up there, goes and watches him. His name's Victor Hovland. If Oklahoma State doesn't make that trip to see another player, what happens with Victor Hovland? I mean, players can slip through the cracks. PDI is going to change that, Roger. We are so excited to get to the coaches convention in Las Vegas. This is going to be PDI, a household at junior golf. Everyone's going to do it, and we can't wait, because what it's going to do, it's just going to help everyone. It's going to help the players. It's going to help the coaches. It's going to make everyone's life easier, and everyone's going to look at you, Roger, and say, why didn't you tell me about this 5 years ago? You're going to say, I tried.
It's only been 20 years in the making.
So very exciting. Certainly we thank Coach Eva for coming on the podcast today. Big things ahead on this podcast for sure. So that will do it for this edition of the Hub of Junior Golf Podcast. For Roger Nick, is our producer and director, Michael Nick. I'm Ryan Burr saying until next week. So long, everybody.